All right, dueling governors here on the Big 550 KTRS 820. Let's check in with the governor, the governor of the great state of Missouri, Governor Jay Nixon. Governor, welcome back, Big 550 KTRS.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Let's first, I don't know how much you heard of Rick Perry on the show about a half hour ago, but when he was talking about why KTRS pulled the ad and I asked him about it, he said it wasn't about Jay, meaning you. He said it didn't have to do with you, and yet in the ad, he says that your governor, meaning you, vetoed a bill that would have lowered taxes and controlled wasteful spending. I don't understand you politicians. You bash each other, and then you say, hey, it isn't about Jay. I don't understand that about you guys.
Well, I mean, I didn't get a chance to listen to him, but I doubt if I missed anything. Clearly, when you look at the facts, this is extremely clear what's going on here. Perry's, coming to states like Missouri, getting involved in local politics where he doesn't understand what's going on. I mean, it's what he tried to do when he ran for president, and that didn't work that well. And he comes here not having his facts straight, overstating, I hope at least when he was here, that he bought something and noticed how much lower our sales tax is, or went out and looked at a house to see how much cheaper our houses are because of our lower property tax rate, or went by and visited with a business person, which the tax foundation rates our business taxes much lower. And by the way, he could also talk to a school kid where both our graduation rates and our ACT tests are higher. I'm not changing the subject on this. When another governor comes to my state and says to us that Missouri businesses can move from Texas, he's flat wrong.
Governor Jay Nixon, since you didn't listen to the interview, I will not take offense to that. But we did pull a clip, and I asked the governor of Texas, while he's here, listen to this clip, Governor Nixon. I asked the Governor Perry, while he's here, are you meeting with Missouri businesses trying to lure them to Texas?
Sure. We are. And actually there's some businessmen and women who have come from Texas to just kind of share their personal stories and about what doing business in Texas is like. So, we're having some opportunities to meet with individuals who may not be considering at the moment, but are curious about what's going on there and what the opportunities are.
Your thoughts, Governor?
Well, I mean, it's a misguided view of the economy of our country. I mean, when we need to get strong. If we think that building our economy is about states coming to each other and poaching businesses from each other, I mean, our competition is with China, is with Europe, is with India. We're in a world competition here. And folks with yesterday's thoughts, like Governor Perry, who want to travel around the state and try to get folks to move from one state to another, that's not anything net positive for our country. And quite frankly, the vast majority of the governors that I work with, and I work with all of them on a number of things, are working together to improve our education system, to improve our country as a whole, not flip from state to state trying to talk folks into moving from one state to another.
This override veto has really taken center stage because of this. You vetoed the bill. Now you're kind of out of it. The Republicans have enough Republicans to override your veto. So it isn't necessarily you, it's the Republicans who they're having a hard time convincing to vote against you, and there are a number of Republicans who are actually listening and buying into your philosophy on this.
We think we're making good progress. I would note, like I say, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to listen to Perry. I'm on my way to Troy, where we're now getting another jobs expansion in Missouri. I think we're making progress. Clearly, a number of Republicans who voted for this bill are realizing they're coming our way. While I didn't get a chance to listen to Governor Perry, I'm sure he did take time to say that his saying that I should be overridden on this vote also includes, he noted and understood it's a $200 million tax increase on prescription drugs and an increase of sales tax on textbooks. They conveniently forget to talk about the parts of this bill they don't like, which are those two tax increases that are also in House Bill 253.
I can understand you coming to the defense of Missouri, but what I don't understand is the Missouri Chamber of Commerce and the other politicians. Where are they standing up and defending the honor of, okay, maybe we don't have the prettiest tax rate, but where are these politicians who always talk about standing up for Missouri values every time they're at the ballot box? Where are they now standing up to the governor of Texas, who is blatantly saying, I'm here to steal your jobs?
I mean, I sent a letter to every member of the state chambers board this week saying I think it's in contravention to your direct reason for existing, which is to grow and expand Missouri businesses, to host a fellow who is running ads saying move your business to another state. I think that's simply wrong, and it's what happens when you get in a political system where one fellow with millions of dollars runs ads and tries to affect public policy individually like that. And the bottom line is, I think that across the state, what I have heard uniformly from Missourians is they don't think that we certainly welcome Governor Perry to come to our state. We would anyone. We're welcoming people. But the fact that the chamber would sell out in this situation is just wrong. And I think that's why local chambers are standing up with us. So the chambers in Springfield, in Fulton, in Columbia, and the Civic Council in Kansas City all standing up and saying, Governor, you're right. The legislature should not override this veto. You are correct.
Speaker Tim Jones, who refuses to come on this show, is quoted in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch this morning. And Speaker Tim Jones has I don't know your relationship with him, but publicly he said some pretty gnarly things about you. He says that this event is a pro-growth event. How can it be pro-growth if the guy you're bringing in is meeting with companies trying to steal them and move them to his home state?
Like I say, once these guys get into this zone, the region steps aside. And that's why it's important, I think, for folks to also in the Post-Dispatch today is an op-ed piece that I wrote about why 253 is the wrong policy for the state. I think that the speaker is flailing a little bit. He's not getting the kind of support he needs on his side. We're getting in the final 10 or 11 days here, and so I think that as his vote total drops, his rhetoric rises, and so I fully expect that to continue. I look forward to working with the speaker once we get back in January to continue to move the state forward. He and I have worked together on a number of things, and I look forward. I'm governor of all the state, not just the Democrats or the Republicans or the rural or the city. And quite frankly, in my last 4.5 years, I've worked hard not only to cut taxes but to improve education, and I've done that in a bipartisan way.
Let's talk about this actual bill. The bill will reduce corporate spending, and so don't they have an argument, Governor, that says if you reduce the corporate tax, more businesses would want to stay, more businesses would want to start, more businesses would want to grow here if you reduced the corporate tax rate?
I've cut taxes 4 times as governor with the 2-pronged test. Number one, will it directly create jobs? And number 2, is it fiscally responsible? 4 separate times as governor, whether it's for manufacturing or for veterans or for small businesses, for the franchise tax. I have supported and passed through the legislature tax cuts. This is not that tax cut. This is a broad-based cut that would help a very few on pass-through S-corp type of income, and also would dramatically take away necessary funds for public schools, mental health. Today, I'll be in St. Louis later. After I go to a jobs announcement up in Troy, I'll be back in St. Louis to talk about the First Steps program that would be imperiled if it didn't have enough money because of this bill. The bottom line is you've got to balance these things, and I think that 253 is not balanced. That's why over 80 school boards have already passed resolutions, why hundreds of groups have supported us, why chambers of commerce around the state are coming to our side on this, understanding the best economic development tool for the future is education.
You're watching this vote very carefully. How many Republicans do you think are going to vote with you and a vote against overriding your veto?
Well, I don't have an exact number other than say I was in Kirksville 2 nights ago with a town meeting there with 200 people in which we took questions from the public. At the end of that meeting, Representative Nate Walker, Republican, came to the front of that room, shook my hand in front of his constituents and said, Governor, I'm with you. That's happening around the state as people realize the huge problems with this bill, the unintended consequences of it, the tax increases that are in the bill. I think it's, and when you talk about the tax increases, folks like Jones say, oh, just trust us. We'll come back and take care of you in the next session. I just want to say to all the listeners out there, if politicians tell you, yeah, we want to raise your taxes, but trust us, we'll come back later and fix it, be highly skeptical. The easiest thing they can do is sustain my veto. We can come back in January and get a reasoned approach to continue to move this economy forward.
Last question for you, Governor Jay Nixon. Any chance you're spending time in Iowa, and any chance you're running for president next time around?
I got to be up near Maryville, and it feels like Iowa. Sometimes when you get that far north in the show me say, I'm focused between now and September 11th at making sure this veto is sustained. We've got a lot to do in Missouri. I don't want to waste air time of yours by not directly responding to any questions here, McGraw. But I other than to say that my focus right now, I'm greatly honored that the people have given me a second term as governor. I want to work to improve the state.
Governor Jay Nixon, be safe, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thanks, my friend.
You got it. 8:30 here on the Big 550 KTRS.